Okay, hi. So I just got back from a trip to the west of China, and in a way I'm reacting, not in a way, I'm reacting to Matthew Tai's latest video where he talks about the Chinese government building escalators to nowhere and doing all kinds of ridiculous things. And yeah, I wasn't going to make a video today. I didn't plan on doing that. I just planned on resting after my big trip. But anyway, I just thought I would because it's just everything's fresh in my mind. I just got back from the west, riding slow trains around. Yeah, like I want to say straight off the bat, traveling in China as a foreigner is not cheap because you can't stay in like any hotel. I didn't have any problems with it. I knew about it, so I just always booked these hotels. But generally, it's like $40 to $50 Australian to stay at these hotels. If you shop around in some cities, you can probably find a cheaper hotel, but when I get out of the train station and I have to like ride a electric bike or a regular bike or get a taxi or whatever, I don't want to go to a hotel hoping that I can stay there. I want to go to a hotel knowing that I can stay there. But anyway, so I've been traveling around, and if you come into China, just allow like 500 RMB per day probably. Sounds like a lot, it is, but that's just how much it costs, unfortunately, to travel in China. So yeah, it's not super cheap, but if you look at it in a positive way, if you look at it in a positive sense, the hotels that you're staying at, if you're paying 300 RMB a night, which is like $50-$60 Australian a night, usually you've got pretty good facilities. You've got a gym, you've got like a pretty big room, and everything's usually pretty good. So that's how I choose to look at it. But anyway, just reacting to Matthew's video and his claim that the government just does all of these ridiculous things, I want to give you an example. So I went to a place called Datong, which is in ShanXi province, ShanXi, which is basically Mountain West. And there was an old town in Datong, and everybody lived there. It was the city, like it had been the city for thousands of years, for at least over 1,000 years. And there's a documentary about it called The Demolition Mayor, where this mayor is basically trying to change this old city into something really kind of like, like a big tourist attraction and more livable. And because in the past it was just all little hutongs and it was pretty rough, and that's what the documentary is about. Now, I haven't seen the documentary. I've only read about it. Okay, so yeah, watch it yourself. But anyway, I went to this old city and I explored around and had some great food in it. And yeah, they're still building it right now. They're still developing it right now. And look, I'm sure that you could look at something like that and you can say, well, that was a bit ridiculous. But if you go to a place like that and you really use your mind to think, you sort of really understand, like, look, this old city, like the old city, the big square, it wasn't a good place to live. Like the sewerage and the services and the fire safety and all those things were really difficult. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to going back there and seeing what it's like in a few years. And look, I'm not going to sit here and sing the praises of that mayor because I don't know anything about it, but just going there, I can tell you that the canal has been completely restored. Like, it's full of fish. These huge turrets and the big walls have pretty much, like, I rode around the whole circumference of it, so the whole perimeter of it. So that's all very neat and everything's very nice, and they've got trees planted there. Inside it, there's parts of it that they're sort of still working on, and it's a huge area. It's over, yeah, I mean, I'm not like the best guesstimator at land because I didn't grow up on a farm or anything, but I'd say that it would be at least 2,000 acres, the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, and there's some lovely parts to it, some really wonderful parts to it that are completely restored. Now, I want to introduce a term that if there's any Low 86 watchers watching, they might not know what this term is: afforestation. getting the slow train through these valleys, through the what is it called, the Dartung Pungdi, the Dartung Basin, I just call it the Dartung Valley. That's what I would call it. But yeah, getting the train through these valleys, getting the slow train through the valleys, and sitting in the seats and chatting to people. It's amazing because you look on the hills. On these hills, they've planted all of these little pine trees to hold the soil together, and it's an incredibly huge scale. I mean, it's like the Salinas Valley, a place I've been. The agricultural land is very rich, and it's arid, so they've planted all of these trees. I went to the botanical gardens in a small city in this valley called Shoujo, and they're experimenting there with different types of trees, mixing them up, because if you look on Wikipedia, there's this bland criticism of China's afforestation efforts. Afforestation means to plant trees, create forests, if there's any Lao 86 fans watching. And there's been this criticism that they've just created monocultures. So they're experimenting with like creating different, using different trees in combination with one another. But using pine trees is incredible because it does create habitat. I defy anyone to prove to me that these pine forests are not habitats for birds, are not habitats for hedgehogs and other animals, because they create shade, the nettles hold the moisture in the soil, and it's terrific. So yeah, like, that's just another example of how Matthew's always looking at, I guess he's just looking at like little videos on TikTok, and that's basically like what he's basing his channel on now, because he hasn't been in China for more than 4 or 5 years now. And yeah, it's just amazing that he still thinks that he can have a channel about China, to be honest. But yeah, it's really lovely. And then getting the train back today from Taiyuan, which is the provincial capital of ShanXi, you see the work in the future. So just valley after valley after valley, and hill after hill after hill after hill after hill, covered in quite mature little pine trees, and all of them at least 3 to 4 meters high and very thick, and holding these hills together, holding the topography together, and really splendid. So look, as a foreigner, I think that like the afforestation work of the government is really incredible and is to be commended. And I really don't understand the arrogance of somebody like Lao Wei to sort of come out and just make fun of the country all of the time. And the other thing I would say is, I feel sorry for that guy, because what I experienced today, he can never experience, because he probably can never come back into the country. I mean, there is like the reality that he's just been so rude and he's just been so aggressive that I don't think he could get a visa. And what he's lost is access to this incredible country. The last thing I would like to touch on, that any foreigner should be really excited about, and maybe I'll insert a couple of images here, but I just feel like come and see for yourself. In this city, Dartung, there's like an old temple type structure. It's round and it's over 600-700 years old, but it's just a part of the city. People walk through it. It's a thoroughfare, and very big circumference. To go actually into this building, you need to scan a little code. It's free, but you just have to have an app and you can scan it to look into it. I keep my distance from a lot of these buildings. You know, I'm happy to sit on the outside and look at them. You know, but it just looks like it's from outer space. Like, as a foreigner, it's just like, what? You know, it just looks like it's from another planet. It looks like it's from another planet. And yeah, those are the things. And it's surrounded by a big round canal, all big stone, all built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, all still in excellent condition. And yeah, like, anyone that's thinking about coming to China, wow, it's such an adventure, you know. And seeing all these small vernacular houses and their lovely roofs and tile roofs, and yeah, it's an incredible, incredible country. I mean, there's nothing I could say more than that. So if you're thinking about coming to China to teach English, send me an email. I want your adventure to begin. People are so friendly. People have been saying hello to me and being friendly to me the whole time I was there. And the other thing I'd like to say is, like, I could tell a few anecdotes. I'm still buzzing from this travel, but there was this young guy, maybe 25 years old, walked past me, and, very healthy young guy, looked like a total warrior, and I was trying to use an APP bike, and he came up to me and he obviously turned around and came back, and he said, "Hello, I can speak English, can I help you?" And I said, it's okay, like, I'm fine. And he said, welcome to Datong, I hope you enjoy your time here. And I was like, thank you very much. I was like, thank you very much, sir. I was like, you have a wonderful day. And he's like, you have a wonderful day too, sir. And just very special, so he was one of the young men, and he welcomed me. Wow, and many, many wonderful things happened like that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, so hope everyone's doing well, and I'll see you on the next video.